So, what is perspective? What is perspective, and is it wrong or right? Is it fact or fiction? So, in short, perspective is a point of view, your viewpoint, your way of looking at something. So, if you're looking at this is all you see. You don't see the other side. Okay? So, you can only explain to me what you see based on this right here. What do you see? This is all you could tell me. You have absolutely no idea what's on the other side of this mug. You really don't. You might think you do, but you just don't. You might infer certain things. You might think I know exactly what it is. I mean, the other side of the mug looks exactly like this side of the mug. When in all actuality, it may not look like this. It might not look like this side of the mug at all. Unless you see the other side of the mug, you're basically just guessing. You're assuming. You're only giving me your perspective, your point of view, your vantage point, based off of what you see, not based off what is actually fact about that mug. You know in part, you don't know in whole, you don't know in full. That means your perspective might be way, way off because you don't know the full story. All this to say that the United States was not just formed by white people. All this to say is that if you think that all that was over here was white people, you are sadly mistaken. If you think that African American people were not very influential in the laws here in the United States of America all the way back into the 1800s, you're sadly mistaken. If you think that all these roads and bridges and buildings were just built by white people, you are sadly, sadly mistaken. If you think that white people were, the United States is white, it's just white, it's always white, it's white, you're mistaken. Your perspective is way off. Way off. And you shouldn't get online coming from a jacked up perspective. The section of the United States of America that you see from outside of America is very, very small. It's tiny. The perspective you have on African Americans and our history in the United States from outside of the country is probably very, 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 very small. The perspective you have on the indigenous people is even smaller than that. But the perspective you have on with white people when it comes to white people is for some reason really, really huge. Okay? And many people tend to give the credit that belongs to other people to white people. I've noticed this. This white, like for instance, I stood in a part of town while making a video. No, on the telephone one time, right? But it was a video, so it wasn't going online. I was on the phone with someone, and I was like, "Look at this! Look at this! Isn't this nice?" The person said, "That's just white folks' buildings." It threw me for a loop, right? Because I was standing in front of what Black Americans built. So quickly I had to correct the person. I was like, no. Who told you this? Who told you this? Black people built this. Black people built it. Yeah. Black Americans built it. So once I clarified and straightened all that stuff out, right? It's just amazing how when people look at the United States of America, they believe that nobody else was influential in doing anything here but white people. That is a bald-faced lie. It irritated me so much until the fact that I'm actually in the process of writing a book. It's a very short book, but it gets right down to the point. And hopefully it corrects a lot of perspectives out here. Because you missed the other side of the mug.